Gwynn and Chris on 97.3 The Fan. 2 o'clock is the time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Skraby, the three of us together in our Odyssey Palace studios, heading towards a good Monday Night Football game tonight. It'll be the team that used to play here against the one that has always played in Philadelphia. That's coming up after our program gets over around 4 o'clock. We have about 2 hours to do a whole bunch, so much so that our recap of week 14 of the NFL, the good, the bad, and the ugly, has been tabled until tomorrow's show. So we apologize for those of you who love that. I love it.
That was a producer's cut, right?
Yeah, that was
if you have a complaint,
decision.
It's at Matt Skraby or Matt Skraby at Odyssey or wherever you got to get a hold of him. He decided that, because he doesn't have the same, he doesn't have the same.
What are you trying to say?
Well, I'm just saying you don't care about it as much as I do because you don't do it.
That's not what
I do it.
That is an accusation.
Yeah, it is. I work on this thing all night Sunday, all through the night, and then get up Monday morning. It's really difficult, to get that thing right. But it's okay, Scrab. I'm not hurt.
No.
And I imagine that, we're going to be providing such interesting content in its place.
All eyes on the rest of the show are on Matthew Skraby at this point.
Yeah, whenever Chris can get on camera, we can start.
Well, oh yeah, I haven't typed that in there.
Yeah,
the camera was pointed at me, which is a surprise.
I was getting ready to say, I was like, "What do you mean the camera's pointing at him?"
Yeah, for the one time the camera's actually pointing at me, but
That's
I didn't click on the right button.
That's true too. No, we did on the overtime. I feel like we had a very spirited overtime. We talked about the college football playoff, which anyone who's been listening to the show the last week or so knows that Chris is very, very passionate about this whole situation. So we get into that. And we also talk about the Friday incident of the five.
Carmageddon,
the five being closed. And I was stuck in it. My dad was stuck in it. But we talked about that a little bit too.
For the record, everyone was stuck in
Pretty
it,
much,
Matt.
yes.
Not just
It
you,
wasn't
but
just
except for
your
you two.
family.
Like
Yeah.
in this room, 2 out of the 3 weren't stuck in it. So that doesn't do anything.
This is why you try to live close to the studio.
And Chris did make his infuriating joke of, well, I got stuck in so much traffic on the way home.
Well, I did have to drive to South Bay to referee a game, but that was not the direction of the incident. So
Anyway,
I lucked
I'm
out.
sorry to everyone who got stuck in it.
Yeah, pretty much means everybody listening. All right. So anyway, we have a ton to get to. The whole college football mess, which we delve very deeply into in the overtime segment. But yes, it's true. Miami's in, Notre Dame is not in. And now, I mean, basically, Tony, right now, it's just a whining match between Notre Dame and the ACC. Notre Dame is upset because the ACC didn't stick up for them. And the ACC just came back and said, why should we stick up for you? You don't play football in our conference. You're the ones that want to be arrogant and independent. This is what you get.
This is the downside of it.
Right.
For some crazy reason, something like a scenario in which we just saw happens, you will have no protection if it comes down to a team that's in that conference that you have cozied up to, as it did with Notre Dame. And that's, to me, listening to Mr. Bavakwa, the AD Notre Dame, which was, it just seemed like, I don't know how he could be fixing his mouth to say these. I think he said something along the lines of, we are their biggest business, we are their partner, something along those lines.
Yeah, in football.
In football.
Their biggest business.
How can you fix your mouth to say that you literally don't give up any of that? Did you give up any of that cash when you got into the postseason last year?
Nope.
Are you giving up any of the NBC cash you get?
Yeah.
Probably not. I don't know.
No.
So what you want the
But
ACC?
since Miami got in, should they give you money? Yeah,
maybe Notre Dame feels like they should.
But you know what? Notre Dame's always been beyond full of itself. But, this to me wasn't an attack on Notre Dame. And we got into it so much in the overtime. So I don't want to go too much more. You'll hear it
4:15 p.m. at Gwynn and Chris
a little bit later. Yeah. But I mean, Notre Dame's always been incredibly arrogant. And this is, I think a lot of people are celebrating their demise. But to me, this was not about that. This was just about doing what was fair, and Miami beat them, and end of story.
Now,
But
listen,
that's not the end of the story.
I mean, obviously, and we got into this, as we said in the OT, you can make the argument Alabama should not be in this.
Alabama should be the one.
Playoff.
Right.
And then both Notre Dame and Miami should have got in.
Yeah,
but that's not how it works.
Now we just dragged all the Bama fans to hate us in there. So anyway, the college football playoff is set. The Aztecs are set. I think the Aztecs get for what they have, which is, playing another, group of 5 team. They're not going to get a power conference team in the Mountain West Bowl setup. But North Texas is about as good as you can play. They're ranked. They have one of the best, statistically, the offense in the country. The Aztecs have one of the best defenses.
Although that took a hit. That
took a hit because our guy, our defensive coordinator, Rob Arich, yep, is off. And good for him. I mean, going to Nebraska, that's a pretty big deal.
That's a big step up.
Big step up.
I think
you got to feel happy for him to get that opportunity.
Absolutely. It's another sign, though, that at least Sean Lewis is hiring the right guys coming in, because it's followed by their best season since he's taken over.
Yep.
And, you hope that you can regroup. I mean, this was one of the best defenses in the nation this year. And that's going to be tough to replace.
It will. They will replace Rob Arch for the bowl game, but I think with these guys, they're going to want to go out and
for sure,
finish the season, strong. So I'm excited about their bowl opportunity, in the New Mexico Bowl. So good for the Aztecs. The Holiday Bowl ended up with who they wanted going into the whole process: SMU versus Arizona. So that's a good game, but it was crazy yesterday because Notre Dame was holding everything up.
They weren't fully decided on not playing.
You listen to Mark Neville or read the comments of Mark Neville in the paper today, and he said basically we were trying to see what Notre Dame was going to do because they were now available. And, I guess eventually the Irish decided to take their ball and go home. And so they did that, and there you get SMU. So, but again, all of that's in the overtime. So enjoy it. We have issues that we really have to get to, and this is why the GBU has been tabled and why we talked about the college football in the overtime.
Is it that the Padres?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Padres situation might be.
The article that came out this morning from Dennis Lynn.
I am not
Nick Pavetta.
I am not an alarmist. Tony is the furthest thing from an alarmist.
I'm definitely an alarmist.
You are.
Yes, that's why we didn't include
That's why turn your mic off. So we don't want to go too crazy, but it is, we have said no way they're trading for Nando. And they're certainly not going to part with anything they have. They have some things they need to add to this roster. So that's kind of where we've been coming at this. But the more and more we're reading and more that the whispers are, I mean, in the Athletic today, it just, quote, here's what it says. Executives around the sport really do believe the Padres eventually will have to trade or consider trading Fernando. He's far more movable than Manny or Xander. That trio is going to make $90 million beginning in 2027. Padres for now plan to keep them all, but foreseeable future, if the payroll has to shrink and you're going into a situation we all know now where they're probably selling the team. I mean, there's everything but a for sale sign right outside the office. And now today, Athletic, and again, Dennis Lynn is pretty well connected. Nick Pavetta's name's even being mentioned. So if he's being mentioned as a trade, Tony, sounds like almost anybody could be mentioned in a trade.
Jeremiah Estrada mentioned in this article. Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah, we've heard Jake already, but
listen, we've kind of been hinting towards, not hinting, but when you look at what's happening with the Padres and you go back through the history of teams who have put up their team for sale or engaged in a possible sale, things get tricky when it comes to payroll and adding players in order to continue to pursue. To typically what happens in those situations is a team will try to have the books look as clean as possible for whatever owners.
Everything down.
Exactly.
Get
now,
rid of all of the trim the fat.
We heard from John Seidler when this sale information came out. And one of the things he said was that they would at least try to keep things where they're at. To me, the possibility of trading Pivetta would signal maybe the opposite of that. But I think
I would think. Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
Ultimately, I think what AJ would try to do in moving a Pivetta is try to get 3 players for the one Pivetta and try to keep things competitive that way. But I think when this season ended last year, it was clear that there were holes in the roster. However you want to look at it, whether there's an element in the middle of the lineup. Certainly the rotation is something that has to be addressed. I don't know that all those things can get addressed based on what we've seen to this point. Now, every signing we've seen so far for the Padres have been, in some cases, who's this guy? And in other cases, not sure I've heard of him, And so it's all been minor kind of additions to the Padres roster. I just hope that that's not indicative of what's to come.
If the Padres' need is starting pitching, why trade away a starting pitcher? You just lost 2.
Maybe you can get 3 for him or 2.
3, but that's not I guess because
I'm just answering your question.
Tony.
I don't know.
That's not a good enough answer for me, bro.
I don't necessarily know.
I think I go back to that statement that said that they're going to try to keep things where it's at. And that's all we can hope for at this point.
Listen, AJ Preller has, despite the payroll being let from when it was at its peak, has dropped every year. But this team has remained competitive. AJ Preller always does what he needs to do in order to keep this team at least in striking distance at the trade deadline. And then he does some more magic once he gets there. I think
this may be his biggest test.
This might be the toughest one yet.
And
I think. Sorry, Skraby?
Nope.
Yes, sir.
We're going to 18.
Yeah, we are going to 18. Well, darn it.
You forgot again.
On Friday, when I did my what to watch for at the winter meetings thing, I said AJ Preller extension. I still want to know about that. So, there's lots of questions that we just don't have the answers to.
If indeed payroll is going to stay, maybe go below where it was, I don't know of a better GM that you'd want to have at the helm.
I agree with that.
In terms of the creativity that is going to be necessary to keep this team where it's at right now.
Well, you're going to have to.
And by the way, you're going to have him. He's got one more year on his contract.
Right. No, he's not going
anywhere
this year, but you do have to do something about keeping him for the future. Going back to what John Seidler said, that we're going to do everything, to keep everything where it is. I think that is the high water mark at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think you can even start saying, well, all right, we've got Manny, we got Bogey, we got Crony, we got everything set. We need let's go buy a first baseman. Let's go get a DH. Let's add a starting pitcher, and we're good to go. Because I just don't think that's even remotely realistic anymore. It sounded good at the end of the season when we said, hey, let's get Kyle Schwarber.
Those things cost money.
Sounded fun.
Oh, the Pirates apparently offered him over $100 million.
Sure. Who's that?
Schwarber.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he's going to take that.
He ran as quickly as he could.
I've actually been reading a little bit that the Reds might jump to the top.
That makes sense to me.
Because they have a young core.
Exactly. He would be
and in that ballpark, are you kidding? Me? We just said the same thing, Jinx. You owe Minnesota now.
I would hate to have to deal with him in Great American Ballpark.
He's just going to rip homers down that left or right field line.
Than Citizens Bank where he's at.
Yeah, because it's farther to the right field at Citizens Bank.
Oh, man. Nonetheless, winter meetings kick off here this week. Hopefully, we're going to be hearing from Sam today. We hearing from Sam today?
Yeah, we're going to hear from him at 3:40.
He'll be on in a little while. Because I feel like we're a little down and out reading all this stuff. It's starting to take a toll. down and out might be too far, but it's starting to take a toll. I've been keeping upbeat and trying to say, hey, we're okay. And to me, any team that has Manny and Fernando and Bogey and the nuts and bolts of something, you've got a shot. But you start, picking away at the top 3 starters on your staff. I don't care how good Joe Musgrove is. He can't be all 3 of those guys.
No.
You can't lose them all. You can't lose at that point, Mason Miller may have to just be a starter. So there's so many things. We'll see what AJ can do this week, if anything. But I don't think he's going in with his guns blazing the way he'd like to.
No, I don't think
Doesn't have all his ammunition.
It sounds like, the guys who are making, the upper tier money aren't likely to be going anywhere as of now.
Right.
But in terms of adding to those specific spots that you mentioned, specifically the rotation.
Yeah.
It's going to have to, it seems like it might take some creativity. You got to turn your mic on.
Yeah, I don't want to cut off Chris, but I just wanted to ask you guys if you think that if Bogey waives a no trade clause,
Bogey's not waiving a no trade clause.
Do you think that there's any team in Major League Baseball that would take that? Because that, to me, it's going to go down as the reason that the Padres have to trade Fernando if they trade Fernando.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think there's a team as of now. If he can, comes out next year and it like gangbusters, maybe it's a different conversation.
I just know if you try to trade Xander Bogaerts right now, that man is going to see red. It's my favorite line ever from Xander Bogaerts.
He ended the season seeing red.
Seeing red. That was the last thing he saw. It was red. It was red as he went into the dugout and was in a screaming match with the. I forget the whole
DJ Rayburn.
DJ called him out.
Rayburn.
Yeah,
you had that up? Or you had
that up?
You had that up? That's what the
umpire. No, DJ Rayburn said you had it. Did you have it down?
Oh yeah, you had that down. Right. Yes, and
Xander's like, kinda, yeah. It was like bounced.
Not the first thing you want to hear as you strike out with.
And DJ Rayburn stepped up into Xander's face to say it.
And he's like, wait, you had that down? Oh, man, I didn't see it that way.
Clearly painful.
Thanks, DJ.
All right, we are underway, but we're worried. So welcome to the Worry Show. Remember to listen around 3:35. We are going to announce the biggest fan today, and that fan will get a chance to qualify for a night in the Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all of the fan staff. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest-fan in order to potentially have your name called. That's coming up at 3:35. Gwynn and Chris back and continuing to be concerned on 97.3 The Fan.
Tony Gwynn. Skraby is listing off his complaints here during the break. And
you better extend the break then. He's got more than he's got more complaints than the break had time for.
It's amazing. I was like, man, listen, you have a lot of complaints, man.
My goodness, going on.
There are times where you remind me of my significant other.
Gosh, that's the second time with the button. Chris has said I remind him of his wife. You said I remind you of your wife. What does that mean?
Why did you say that you remind me of my wife? Because she's going to ask about that now.
I mean,
what about
you've said it before on the air?
What about? No, I haven't. No, you don't remind me of her.
I'm pretty sure you have.
Oh boy,
Tony,
I'm gonna stay out of this.
Yeah,
Tony wanted to agree with me but didn't want to.
What did you say? What was it? What was it that Skraby does that reminds me of me?
It's because we're both
because he gives
really
me
great people.
Gives me a big. I mean, what? No,
I'm trying to save. I don't know why Chris made this so weird.
I'll remind everybody, all guests on the 97.3 The Fan, join us on the David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Sam, the Great Levitt, out in Orlando for the winter meetings. He has done some catching up with some people who are important.
Some of the big wigs out there.
Yeah. Craig Stammen being one of those guys.
Sammy will stick a microphone in your face. You better be ready.
He's not afraid.
No.
He's not afraid at all. Skraby, what kind of I haven't seen any of the sound bites. What do we got here?
So 97.3 The Fantasy on Twitter has all the sound bites right now. But Craig Stammen did his first winter meetings official MLB press conference with everyone. And he was asked something that we were just talking about.
He was asked.
Yeah, Craig Stammen was asked.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know if Sam Levitt was asked.
Oh, no. Here's Craig Stammen talking about relief pitchers on the team and whether or not they'll be converted into starting pitchers.
I didn't know if you were talking about me or talking about players on our team. I think it's still, I wish I could have done that. We got a lot of good pitchers in our bullpen that we, can pitch in numerous innings and a lot of different parts of the game. As far as starting, I think we're still having those conversations, but leaning towards those guys staying in their current roles and just being valuable assets that we deploy throughout different parts of the game.
Mason and Adrian specifically, how well they pitched tonight.
Asked about Adrian Morejon and
To me, that's the biggest factor, because you take someone that's the best at what they do and you put them in a completely different role. You don't know if they're still going to be the best or they're going to be a shell of themselves or somewhere in between. And it's a risky proposition, one, health-wise and just performance-wise. So I think using those guys strategically in the bullpen is probably best for us. It's best for them also. I think that's what they want to do, and that's a big piece of this too, is what the player knows what he really wants to do and what he's going to be best at.
First of all, he gets an A on answering the question directly. He did. I mean, he could have, hemmed and hawed and gave the, we're still kind of discussing it right now. But he indicated that they were leaning more towards leaving guys where they were. And that gives us the answer, so we don't have to keep asking that question over and
That's
over
the
again.
good news. The bad news is if they trade Nick Pivetta and every other starting pitcher, they may have to revisit that question.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
But I'll give him I'll give him the latitude to do that, because he's answering the question based on the information he has now.
Right.
And that's fair. And you're right, Tony. No, I don't want to say no, but very few managers, coaches, people like this, GMs,
especially in their first few,
have ever understood that if you just give us something now, we really won't have any reason to call you back again and keep pestering you.
Great point. Great point, because now we can go off of you saying that we're going to likely keep these guys.
There's nothing more we can really glean from you.
Have you guys fully gotten all the way over
but you're really thinking of doing that?
Now we have a direction.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting point, and Craig Stammen seems to get it, so I like that.
We'll get more from Craig Stammen on the other side, plus a lot more audio. I believe Sam caught up with Harold Reynolds as well. You're
going to feel like you're at the baseball winter meetings when we're done
This is why you have a utility guy like Sam Levitt. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. He can host.
I don't know if
not only that,
utility man.
He doesn't like that one?
No, he wants to be reporter on the scene.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Sorry.
he can't be reporter on the
He
scene.
does everything, though.
But he does, and he snuck a wedding in on his way
He
to
did.
Orlando.
He did. And he joined the show on Friday
That's what
while
I'm
he
saying.
was on his way.
We have
It's
a
a
lot of people
compliment,
joining
if
shows
anything.
on their way to wedding now. Sammy,
Joe Musgrove. Yeah, very true.
I also had a complaint yesterday from one of my people that worked down at the Holiday Bowl. Had a lot of people come up to me yesterday at the Holiday Bowl announcement, and really very nice people. Every single one of you that I met, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Can you hold this for the other side?
And I'll tell you though, but one of them had a complaint that we got to address.
We'll address it on the other side. More Gwynn and Chris.
Ben and
the complaint yesterday.
We got a lot of complaints.
And then we're going to get
address.
into some more complaints. Gwynn and Chris, 2:36 is the time. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., and the man we are going to complain to very, very shortly here.
Complaint department closed. Sorry.
Well, we're opening it. We're prying it open, and we're walking right in. To me, this is one of the laziest days of your entire tenure.
That is really mean. Because I'm also putting up a video
Wait,
that
time
we
out.
did before the show.
I'm sorry, I lost focus for a second. Did I miss the complaint about?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay, sorry.
But anyway, we'll get into this. Yeah, I know, and he's doing me a favor too, and now I just put that in jeopardy.
Yeah, that's all right.
I haven't
That's all
sent
right.
that to you.
I think
yet.
it's worse. I think it's worse.
That into jeopardy.
I'm sorry I didn't get you calling play-by-play for an otter to you.
Yeah, I'm in
Which is
demand
true.
now.
Which is
SeaWorld
true.
wanted me to do a video of them doing play-by-play of an otter shooting a basketball, so I did it.
Sounds
And,
great.
You
Sounds
did
great.
it. Oh,
Right now,
funny.
Scraby.
It's lost in my email. I don't know.
Well,
where it went.
yeah,
A lot of
along
things
with
are lost in your
along with the
emails,
good, bad, and the
apparently.
ugly, apparently.
You know, Chris did not send me that email.
We're gonna get to that in a second.
Well,
Let's hear this. let's-
there is proof. There are ways to prove that, are
there
there not,
is,
Tony?
there is.
There's nothing.
All right,
to
we'll
do.
get
digital
into it.
ways. Yes, indeed.
So real quick, thank you to everyone. There was more than a handful of people, or about a handful of people, who came up yesterday while they're all waiting for the announcement at the Holiday Bowl. My wife's a red coat, so we were down there at the Snapdragon waiting for the announcement. And I think people are so bored that they decided to come over and introduce themselves and say hello and say they enjoyed the show. So I really appreciate that. Fun meeting everybody. And I always pass it along to these guys because we love when people, take a moment to thank us, because that's why we're here. But Rick Schloss, Rick, right?
Love him.
Love Rick. Rick, you're our guy. And he listens to the show constantly, and we appreciate that. He's an Aztec baseball player from the days gone by, now a very popular media relations guy in town. And so we can answer this for you, Rick. He said yesterday, I listen to the show, love everything, but every time Tony's not working, and you may not even know this, Tony, because you're not here, I say, welcome back to the show. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn is idle today.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Schloss didn't like the word idle.
He's having a problem with idle.
He's having a problem with idle. So
You
my
said
wife,
Did he give you a specific?
he didn't really have something I should change it to. He just thought idle was a very nondescriptive word. And then my wife jumps in with, oh, yeah, I think Rick's right.
She co-signed it. She
She
co-signed it.
co-signed. So I had never even really thought of whether that was a good or bad introduction or reference. So let me ask you, is there any way you would like me to refer when you're off? I don't like to make it seem like you are lollygagging at home.
I think we should say this.
laying-
I think we should say this. Tony Gwynn Jr. Sorry, let me start.
Okay.
That's right.
Great, this is live
Take
radio.
two.
Great.
Take two.
Yeah. Welcome back to the show. Chris Ello here, Matt Skraby over there, and Tony Gwynn Jr. just didn't want to come to work today.
Didn't wanna come
I knew
in
you were
here
going to
and
say
say that.
something
Yeah,
slick
right.
like that. What I do is when you're gone,
Yes.
I
What am I?
typically say Chris Ello is out. It's
Out.
Skraby and myself.
So just
Hold down
out.
for it. Yeah, it's out.
But see, out is just as nondescriptive as idle, isn't
Hey,
it?
listen.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Rick Schloss thinks you're out in the hallway twiddling your thumbs and you're
Rich,
idle. I don't know.
sometimes it's none of your business. This is what it is. Sometimes
Exactly.
I gotta.
Tony's got things
I got
to do.
things I gotta
I
do.
have things I do. Scraby gets we take days off. I try to make it very
To be fair,
uninformative
I
when
had-
you're not here.
I had to take my daughters up
We know that.
to Norco for
No,
another.
you are a
That is my.
if we told people what you did on the days you're off, you would easily win the Father of the Year award, because
That
that's
is-
almost 95% of the time what Tony is doing.
Yes,
And
it
what's
is.
the other 5%, Chris?
Twiddling his thumbs. Just taking a day off. I don't know.
The other 5% comes during the baseball season. Where, yes,
So-
I
so
very
the
well am
question
twiddling
is-
my thumbs.
Do we stay with idle and upset Rick Schloss, or do we come up with something different?
Well,
Because
Rick
Rick's a
hasn't
big guy,
approached
guy that
me.
we need to, want to make him happy out
Rich
there.
hasn't approached me and said that he had a problem with out. So maybe you should
Just go without.
just go
Tony
without.
Gwynn Jr.'s out today.
Boom.
What do you think, Scrabe? Any
I've
thoughts on
always
this?
thought idle. I didn't understand idle until you explained it to me, which is like a sports terminology thing.
Right,
So-
you're not playing. Idle means you're.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Tony Gwynn Jr. has a bye.
Or let's
That doesn't
say
sound right.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
That's a
Can't even say on the bench because he's not in the building.
No.
I think idle's fine.
Idle works.
I think out is okay too.
All right, Rick,
Yeah.
you just got 5 minutes of discussion about your
Man.
question, so that
We appreciate you listening,
Make
man.
you happy. We love Rick Schloss out there. All right,
K-Law says, for real, let him take a day off without explaining why.
well, that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. Thank you, K-Law. All right, Skraby is here today, but apparently he's kind of taking the day off as well.
I have
really-
not.
And
He
so
really
we're trying
has.
to understand. He didn't want to dig up highlights for the good, the bad, and the ugly that he feigned that I never sent it to him, even though it's in my phone under the stuff that says sent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't see how you win this argument in a court of law, sir.
Because some things happen, Chris, where like sent doesn't mean that it's automatically
No.
delivered.
Okay, so he has an explanation for the
I don't know where it
the
is.
GBU that didn't show up in his
My
inbox.
email is a mess. A lot of
Do you
things.
still not have it? So I need to send it again if we're going to run it tomorrow.
Please forward it to me. That would
Forward
be
it.
nice.
Let's
My
see if his
goodness.
email miraculously gets it
Fine.
this
You-
time.
Tony, you
time?
can come check the email.
Here's the other
You
thing.
guys
though.
were checking the email
Wait,
back there.
wait, here's the other thing though. Typically, and I didn't even check because what I do know about Skraby is he's pretty routine oriented.
Right.
So on
you
a-
would think that some point in the morning he would look for that.
right,
Because he's used to getting it on Monday.
he's used to getting it on Monday. As a
Right.
matter of fact, when he doesn't get it, he's on your head about it.
Yes,
It-
is the
it-
good, bad, and
where-
ugly coming?
where-
Yes.
where is it at?
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so
Good point.
The other thing is typically this time of day on a Monday short show, we move our Big Five, which is one of our most successful segments, I must say. We move it to the 2:30 time slot.
So we were
I
getting
didn't
ready
check.
for it.
Didn't check, and then all of a sudden Chris looked up and said, "Hey, we don't have a Big Five either." And I was like, "No, of course we do. It's at 2:30.
We always have a
You're
big
probably
five.
checking at 4:30. No,
Yeah, no.
look at
What does
2:30.
it say?
Not there.
Scraby took the day off on
No,
the
no,
Big
no,
Five
no.
as
What
well.
does it say on the top under 240?
It doesn't say anything under 240.
says-
Actually, under
I'm
Well,
saying
it
235.
at the
says
top.
audio from winter meetings,
There
but
we
it
go.
should
That was our
say big.
segment.
It should say Big Five.
Yeah, I mean,
Today is an extenuating circumstance.
you keep
That's
saying
why
that terminology.
Yeah, because
extenuating circumstances.
we have had many a Mondays recently with zero baseball news. So I thought that we would just go all baseball
Huh.
for 2 hours. That's why I got you guys here early to record an overtime video about the other topics that we're passionate about.
I don't disagree, but it was the sneaky way that you went about it.
What do you
didn't-
mean sneaky?
You didn't
never
mention
once said, "Hey guys, by the way, I didn't do a Big Five today."
Is that on me to tell you, or is it on you to know?
I don't know. The producer's producing. I thought he might tell them.
No one asked me 240.
Oh, well, we just. You know what? Maybe we
You
are.
guys said,
The,
what are we starting
maybe
with?
we are.
I got to
the,
be honest with you. When Jimmy Kimmel shows up, the head writer doesn't go, "Jimmy, we just didn't write your monologue today."
This
There's
was
just no way that happens.
when I woke up and I was thinking about the show. I was like, today's a perfect day to bounce the Big Five.
And you only had this conversation with yourself, apparently.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see how
Producer of
it
the
is.
show.
Well, since
Producer of the show.
I'm glad you're stepping into your fate now.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
in
Thank
lieu of Skraby doing a Big Five, allow me to touch on a couple of subjects
great.
then before we get back to
Tulane basketball's playing in Tulane, 97-96.
I think a couple of these things are important. One, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens may as well
Man.
just forget about ever going to the Call of Fame.
Someone just called me a gaslighter, but that's not true.
You are a
I am not.
gaslighter.
I get gaslit.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Barry Bonds.
Yeah, Bonds and Clemens. I read this and I thought, okay, they didn't make it again, right? The Veterans Committee said, no, we're going to make them wait another vote. Guess what,
They don't get
Tony?
another
I read
vote.
it. There are like no more votes for these guys. Both Clemens and Bonds, along with Fernando Valenzuela, a little surprised here, Sheffield too, were named on fewer than 5 ballots, which
Crazy.
means
There are still some
you are
grudges
not
being held.
eligible to even be thought of again for 6 years, 2031. So it'll be even further in the past by the time they bring you up. And if you get 5 or less that time,
You're done.
you have as much chance of getting in as I do.
Yeah.
So it is almost the end now for Bonds, Clemens, etc. And Jeff Kent got in on the Veterans Committee, and even Jeff Kent, who did not get along with Barry Bonds, we know this. They fought in the dugout, right?
I saw that fight with my own eyes.
Right. Even Jeff Kent said, I can't give you the answer you're looking for because I really don't have an opinion. To me, that's Jeff Kent saying he ought to be in.
Yeah.
Because if Jeff Kent wanted to, he could easily say
could bury him.
He could bury Barry Bonds because we already know he doesn't like him. But he didn't even say that. But Barry, I think, is buried. I think that's it.
You hope that the 6 years removed only it continues to soften everybody. But as I told you when you first asked me this, I said, I don't know, man. It's tricky because those players, those specific players that we're talking about that were in that group that all voted, they come from an era that
they do. They were having their greenies, they were doing whatever they needed to do.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Right?
I even think, and who did I hear say? I think I heard AJ Brzezinski say this over the weekend, that how it should go down is that I think that the year was 2005 was when Major League Baseball actually put the rule in that you couldn't use it performance enhancing drugs.
There were 7 years where they didn't pay mind to it at all.
They didn't
they knew what was going on.
100%. And I do think I don't always agree with A-Rod, but the idea that it happened under Bud Selig's watch,
and he's in the
Hall of Fame largely because of that same time frame.
Right. The Boone in baseball is credited to him because he allowed this kind of behavior.
Unless you truly believe he had no idea any of it was going on.
Him and Pat Fitzgerald, who didn't know anything about the hazing at Northwestern. Right.
I just think it's just sad because I
think it's sad for Barry Bonds. Clemens, I don't miss as much, but
I think
these guys are done.
They all deserve to be in there. Even Don Mattingly. I mean,
Mattingly at least got 6 votes, and so he can go on the ballot next year.
So that's good.
So Mattingly stays alive. Dale Murphy kind of stays alive. I'm gonna
say by the way, shouldn't be overlooked. Jeff Kent deserved to be in there too. Looking at what he did at his position,
the all-time leading home run at second base.
I don't think there's any
there
question.
You go. But in my mind, I was around, but I think Dale Murphy was better than Jeff Kent.
Okay,
and I could make a case for Dale Murphy and I could make a case for Mattingly being better than Jeff Kent too. Not saying Kent shouldn't be. Those guys are Hall of Fame players in my mind. Murphy won the Gold Glove every year. He won the MVP every year. I don't know what else he was supposed to do. Mattingly was Donnie Baseball for a decade. He was the best hitter in the league. Anyway, all right. That's
Skraby. Now we can get to your produce element of this show, which is
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
Take
so
over
much.
here, buddy.
This was the plan of the show the entire time. Dominic on the chat made something. He said a really funny comment about the Big Five. He said the Big Five today is idle.
Hey, perfect.
It is indeed idle.
Nice call, Dominic.
You know who we haven't talked about much at all this offseason?
Polar Bear?
Well, him, but our guy Jackson Merrill. We haven't talked really about him at all.
Jackson.
And
we mentioned him last week when somebody took a photo with him at a driving range.
Yes,
a friend of mine ran into him,
and we talked about him when he was slamming back whatever beverage he had.
But we haven't talked about Jackson Merrill going into year 3. What are we expecting? Craig Stammen was asked that by the media. Very hard hitting question.
Lead in right there, buddy.
Thank you. Here's what he said.
Yeah, that guy's a stud. I'm expecting him to be the stud that he is. Great rookie year. Last year's kind of hit or miss with the injuries and the concussion. I think just coming back from those injuries was tough on him. But I think at the end of the season, we saw who Jackson was and how he can bounce back from adversity. And we're expecting great things from him this year. He's going to be a stud in our lineup and somebody that we rely on and count on, not just from on-field performance, but just his attitude, mentality, leadership in the clubhouse.
When did you realize that he had those traits? You were around him.
Yeah, I think, you know what, honestly, one of the things that opened my eyes to him is when I went on a rehab assignment to Lake Elsinore, and they were doing pitcher's fielding practice, and he's playing shortstop, and he was running the show as a 18-year-old, and you could immediately tell that he was the leader of that squad. And they were a very good team that year. I believe they got to the playoffs. I forget if they won or not, but I think they did. They won the California League that year. And he was one of the biggest parts of that. His leadership playing the shortstop position, you could tell he had control of what was going on. He was able to get those pitchers to do what he needed when they were, throwing ground balls and doing a 1-6-3. If it didn't hit him in the chest, He was talking about it, and that's what he brings to the table. And maybe as a young player, you're a little bit worried about, ruffling feathers with some of the veteran players. And I think getting into year 3, all that stuff is kind of gone, and he can be himself.
Indeed. Nothing new there. I think we all kind of feel the same way about Action Jackson, and he's only going to get better, assuming he can stay fully healthy. He's going to put up good numbers. He's going to put up monster numbers. He's one of the things you don't worry about.
At least we haven't heard his name pop up in a trade thing. Man, I'm getting nervous, but I'm just hoping that, not the negativity, but the concern that we brought up today, and that is being brought up in The Athletic by Dennis Lynn and being talked about by AJ. Everybody kind of now is, with the for sale sign out there and everything, is the money going to be the same? And when are they going to get AJ, re-extended, et cetera, all these things. The other side of the story is that almost no matter what, the lineup is going to have in the middle of it Fernando, Manny, Jackson, Merrill, Ramon Laureano, Fermin still in there. Jake, I don't think's going. Bogey. Anyway, you maybe trade one somewhere, but you still got a lot of pretty good players, even if you get nothing. So it's not like the cupboard's going to be bare. And Jackson's a good name to remind us of.
As long as the pieces that you just named are there, the cupboard won't be bare.
Right.
But we also know the cupboard may not be good enough to get where you're trying to go based off of what we saw last season. And it may not have anything to do with the cupboard offensively. It may have to do with the cupboard from a pitching standpoint.
This isn't crazy because they had so many pitchers last year at one point before the injuries. I mean, they had an embarrassment of starting pitchers.
Right. Trying to find spots for certain
Couldn't
guys.
Couldn't fit everybody in.
And then that injuries will do that, though. They deplete you in a way that can turn a non-issue into a big issue. And
I got a couple of names that you better put in the back of your head and maybe move them closer to the front, and that's Matt Waldron and JP Sears. And I'm not saying you should count on them.
Randy.
I'm saying Vasquez.
Randy.
No, but Vasquez, I think, yeah.
I don't know.
I kind of like the fact your mic is off, so stay with that idea.
I was like, all right, Randy Vasquez is going to be opening day starter at this point.
He might be. Randy's looking really legit now, but
I mean, listen, that's one of the things that could possibly cover up, some of the issues is if Randy Vasquez takes that type of step forward. I think when you made the deal for him, you had that kind of in mind that this guy can turn into a starter that can be dependable. Well, this is what, year 3 now in terms of him going to be in that rotation.
One thing that's good for Randy Vasquez, just pile this away, Randy. He was on my fantasy team all last year, right? I had to suffer with every time Schilt took him out, 1 out from a win. Right. He's no longer on my team. He's been lost and traded.
So that means a good year's coming.
So next year he's going to just
good year.
Right?
Listen, I mean that's
go crazy next year.
You can't depend on it, but it's certainly something that I think is reasonable to think about, that he could take that next step, and it would certainly ease some of this, but we'll have to wait till the season starts to get to that point.
Chris, I got your forward of your emails.
So the good, the bad, and the ugly is now.
It does work. It does work after all.
It's amazing.
How about that?
Thank you very much.
Now it's way too late to put it on this show.
That was a fantastic segment, guys.
Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly enjoyed its day idle.
The Daily Gambit still stays, though.
Daily Gambit survived, apparently.
Yeah.
Of course, that's here.
Yes, it is.
I
don't have to do anything for it.
I'm glad you said it. 3 o'clock into hour number 2. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, not idle, but here.
Yeah.
And Matt Skraby, who has decided to work the next hour of the show after taking the first hour
I
off.
booked a big old guest in Sammy Lev. Okay?
Yes, he did. We've kind of covered a little bit of everything, a little bit of complaining, a little bit of not working, and a little college football as well. I just heard this kind of funny thought that Notre Dame has become the Drake of college football after
Drake, not the school Drake.
No, the artist,
rapper,
right.
the artist Drake.
For taking their ball and going home after not getting
It's very Drake.
after not getting into the college football playoff.
There's the two things on Notre Dame, and we get so deep into this in our overtime, which you'll hear a little after 4 o'clock. Skraby will put it up on YouTube. But I think the bottom line with the Irish is Notre Dame's the only one that thinks they should be in over Miami and their fans, and B, Notre Dame is the only one that thinks taking your ball and going home and crying about it is the way to go. I think everyone else is against them on both counts.
I think you're absolutely. I think you kind of alluded to it earlier. There are a lot of people that probably secretly, and some not so secretly, hoping that this would happen.
Yeah, right.
And so you would
perfectly happy.
What you get is there are a lot of people kind of giddy about the news, except the people in South Bend,
except for the Irish fans, and there are many.
There are
grant you that they're everywhere.
Sure.
And I would have loved to see them come here for the Holiday Bowl. They've only come to San Diego once that I know of. They played Navy. And
we're not playing.
Yeah, but there were 65,000 people down here at Qualcomm to see them play Navy. Just that's the brand that Notre Dame has. But Tony hits it on the head.
You're missing Tony doing the Notre Dame look.
Well, he hit it on the head in the overtime.
The pouty thing.
Giving a little clue to what he said, but in the overtime.
Now he's leaving, Chris.
Oh, bye. Bye. Okay, well, that means the last 57 minutes of the show, Tony will be idle.
Not only did they take the ball, then they tried to tell. They tried to tell on the ACC, the ACC, they play the game over and over again.
Twist in the wind.
Get out of here.
Yeah. But you hit it on the head. We're teaching the wrong lessons.
We are, man.
The lesson here is if it doesn't go your way, quit.
You don't have to worry about it.
Right. So if you buy into
that
it,
is kind of what we do these days.
Well,
that's kind of the point.
Well, I know. I really want the people to take it back.
Well, it's too late now.
All right. Let's hit some Daily Gambit and see how that went over the weekend.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Guys, we have breaking news, but this is The Daily Gambit, our daily sports segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly.
What's the breaking news?
My team MVP, Tyler Wade, has just signed with the Rangers to a minor league deal.
Well, Padre team MVP Tyler Wade. Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
Shout out to Ty, man. Good for him.
That's very sad.
I
think Tony really thought there was breaking news.
I did. I don't know why I was stupid enough to think that there was actual breaking news.
He's never had any before.
That's on me.
I mean, that is
why
breaking
did it
news.
be any different?
I mean,
It
come on,
is
man.
breaking
You had
news.
Joe Mauer as breaking news as well back in the day.
Joe Mauer retired. He's a Hall of Famer, and these guys act like he played one game. Anyway, let's go to our bets from last week. James Madison, minus 24.5-point favorite over Troy. And Chris and I chose Troy. JMU won, but they didn't win by enough. They won 31-14. So we win that one. Ohio State, minus 4. By the way, I'm claiming myself as a big Indiana fan now because my grandpa went there, and all he wanted for his entire life was for the football team to be good. And then he passes away 3 years ago, and now they're great.
I mean,
they are great.
If we could, allow for your grandfather to come back.
Yeah,
on this one.
No,
would he believe what he is seeing?
Yes, right. He would be like, probably see this and go
and die again.
Yeah, he'd die again.
I mean,
so surprised.
No one would have No one would have thought Indiana.
Did you see the stat they put up on this during the game the other day? In the history of college football, Indiana has lost the second most games of anybody. Like they're one of the worst
that is
teams
I know.
ever.
He waited his entire life,
Right.
and now they're good. So now I'm going to be a
so
huge
good.
front runner and be an Indiana fan. And McKee has a nice thing. It says my grandpa just has a better seat now. So thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, Ohio State -4 against Indiana. Chris chose Indiana. I went Ohio State. Indiana won 13-10. Pretty darn good game. Julian Sane did not play his cleanest game of the year, but Fernando Mendoza, that guy is shot out of a cannon after the game.
Well,
you
he
see
also,
that interview?
Yeah, his interview was a little psycho-ish.
He was definitely turned.
He was like putting putting his face in the camera as he was yelling. It was a lot.
I'll give him one thing.
He takes on the personality of his head coach.
Agreed. His head coach said no celebration at all. He knows there's more work to be done. But Fernando Mendoza took maybe one of the hits of the year at the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah,
I thought he might not ever get up.
He's a tough dude,
tough guy. So good for that. Good for Indiana, man.
Oh.
I think most people appreciate a team that's always been bad finally winning something
and legitimately beating Ohio State, like
straight up.
Yep, not just some lucky game. Now this one, Chris and I were wrong. Texas Tech -12.5. My whole theory of it's a conference championship, it's going to be close. It wasn't, because we picked BYU and they lost 34-7.
People are saying Texas Tech, don't sleep on how good their defense is.
They look pretty good.
We'll
I saw the game. San Jose State -7.5 men's basketball against USD on Friday. Chris went San Jose State. I went USD. USD was not the right pick. They lost 86-69.
I am not happy with the USD basketball and the way that's coming along.
Yeah.
I thought Steve Lavin would, inject a little something into that.
I mean, it's not like Steve hasn't been there for a little bit.
It's a couple years now. And they're not.
I mean, is
getting
it
yet.
Is it NIL stuff? I mean, can they not?
Well, that's
sign
always
players?
possible. Sure. But
For sure. Gonzaga -5.5 at Tucky. Chris went Kentucky. I went Gonzaga. Gonzaga just destroyed them 94-59 in Kentucky.
Speaking of
what this is starting to, I think, say is that there aren't any dominant teams in college basketball right
except
now.
maybe Michigan.
I mean, Michigan is the only one that has dominated everybody, but I mean, Gonzaga got dominated by Michigan. Gonzaga then turns around, dominates Kentucky.
Did you see what happened to Purdue?
They got their face
smoked
whooped
by Iowa State, the worst loss a first number one team's ever had.
Whoa.
It was like 33 points.
There's a lot of that happening.
They get murdered Saturday. Yeah. So who knows?
All right. Thunder -15.5 against the Mavs. Again, this was not a good betting night for me. I went Mavs. Chris went Thunder. Thunder won by like 21, 132-111. Austin Reeves versus Jaylen Brown. Who had more points straight up? Both of us went Hillbilly Mamba. Hillbilly Mamba had 36.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown
Not
had
enough
30.
to win the game, though. Tony's not happy with that.
What happened?
Weren't they without LeBron and Luka?
Yes.
We picked Hillbilly to have more points than Jaylen Brown.
And he did.
But they lost.
They got smoked.
Yeah.
Now, Browns and Titans, the over-under total score, Tony, get this. 33.5 points was the total score. I went under thinking no one's going to move the ball at all.
Oh, boy.
It was quite
the opposite. Yeah.
Because it was snowing in Shador. Looked pretty good yesterday. Granted, against the Titans defense, because I know people are going to say that, but he looked pretty good.
He played all right, and he also celebrated and popped off every time he did something.
Well,
and when
did you see what they were doing?
Well, when he got picked at the end of the game, they were more than happy to return the favor.
They were on it from the very beginning.
What is it, the watch thing?
They were poking at him before he started doing it.
And then he ran one in,
he got
popped, but he stood right up and he did his watch thing, which was great. And he's now the starter for the rest of the season.
Thanks, Stefanski.
He needs to be fired.
I'm glad that you finally got.
Thank God we got the Dylan Gabriel era. That was big.
Not to mention you pulling him out for the second week in a row on a 2-point.
Okay, that's what I was about to talk about.
God,
how can you be a head coach in the NFL when you lose your team a game by calling a trick play without your quarterback even on the field?
By the way, they ran the trick play, and it was almost like they didn't tell the running back.
Because he had no idea.
He was supposed to flip the ball.
He was locked
and he
in.
was like running like it was a run play
and
for
then
him.
He
was like, "Oh man, I'm supposed to give it to him." And by that time, my man had to throw a pass because he had already ran by him so far. Like
That was a
that's
disaster.
strictly on the head
That
coach.
was a disaster. But good strategy.
And they gave him an out too. They asked him at the game. He's like, "Did you call the play, or is that?" He said, "I call all the plays." Oh, all right. Well, we can't blame anybody else but
Did you
then.
tell anybody else what the play was?
Like,
They
you
didn't
think
look
that
like
they
they
would
knew it.
practice that play? This is our 2-point play, guys.
This is
We're
the
going to
one,
practice
right.
this all week.
Yeah, they didn't practice it.
Anyway, do you want to go to break and pick on the other side?
Sure.
Or? Okay.
Let's go to break.
Final
Gwynn and Chris.
totals for the week. Since I won, I'll give you the totals.
Of course.
I was 21-18, Skraby 17-22.
That's not as bad as I
Tony was idle the last 2 days, 9-14.
Dang.
So there you go.
More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
It'll be at the
Traffic will be
at
at
the
the
end of
end
the
of
break.
it.
Yes.
When it comes to the security of your business, Dow
Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan, #1 sports station in San Diego. Coming up on Monday Night Football, Chargers, Eagles. Both teams, I believe, are 8. Are the Chargers 8-4? 7-5. I don't know. It's we didn't do our good, bad, and ugly today. So,
we don't know where we're at.
Yeah. Right, we
By
don't
the
know where
way,
everything is.
we wouldn't have talked about them anyway because it's Monday Night Football. So,
But I would have known where everybody was in the standings.
We would have
That
seen
been
the
more.
standings.
Save it. Both of them are 8-4.
Both of them 8-4. Very good.
Glad you know.
Do you have any thoughts just on the top of yesterday's NFL action?
Me, it was actually more entertaining than I thought. There was a lot of good games and high-scoring games. Although I love me a snow game.
Snow games
Snow
are
is
awesome.
fun.
They're
Buffalo
awesome.
when it's
Cincinnati, and when they're snowing and they have to do the like, I can't run because I'm gonna slip.
How about
come Josh Allen goes faster? Everybody else goes slow.
yeah, nobody else can run except for him in snow.
Except for him.
How about the play where my man from Buffalo is on the ground, like just sliding across? No one touched him. They punched the football out.
Yep.
That was that's only a play that can happen on a snow day.
Yeah.
Where you're just
Like the good snow.
sliding for 7 yards.
T. Higgins, I think every catch that he had was double caught because it kept like slipping out of his hands. But
He made some great catches, but Isaiah Likely, I thought, made the game-winning catch.
Wow.
And Baltimore got, I don't understand. The NFL says, nope, he has to catch it. He has to take 2 steps.
Listen.
And he has to make a football move. What is that?
How?
When you're
You're
in the end zone.
It's not
There's
like
no
you're running
moves to
more.
be made.
It's
I didn't get
just
that.
think
That was a bad
if
explanation.
it looks like
it
a
didn't work.
touchdown to everybody, it's probably a touchdown.
Tony Romo said, I think so, Jim.
I think so, Jim.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh got a little lucky there, but look, I'm happy for our guy Michael Valenzuela, the big Steeler fan, got a win.
Can we talk
Tampa
about
Bay lost to the Saints? What is happening in the world?
That's just
it's hard to figure
normal
all of this
NFC
stuff.
South business.
There
right
was
there.
also a lot of weather games yesterday. There was a torrential downpour in that
That's
game.
the best part about December
Like a
football.
little weather.
Ooh.
The only thing we're missing is the muddy field. They don't have those anymore,
Nah.
but the weather's still fun. And the final nail in the coffin
Yeah,
at the end
I
of the
think I know
night
where
is that
you're
the
going.
Chiefs are out, aren't they?
Well, they're not out.
But
Well, they
it's
gotta
gonna take something
win out,
miraculous
and they're going to
now.
need some help.
But can the Chiefs do that?
Yes, they can.
Poor
And I would
Daniel
love to see you
Jones.
two's face if they pull it off. too,
Oh,
by the way.
Indiana. Yeah,
That would be crazy.
Tony, you got your wish, man, on the Colts.
I told y'all it was Fugazi.
The
4
whole time, Tony's been wishing for Daniel Jones to tear his Achilles.
No, I have not.
4 weeks
No,
ago,
I have not.
4 weeks ago, the Colts were 8-1. They had the #1 seed in the AFC. Today, if the playoffs started, they would not even
They
be
gone.
in it.
Fugazi.
That's how much that's changed on them.
Wow.
I do feel bad for Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
And
it's too
watching
bad. He's
him
having a good year.
watching him go through realizing that he tore his Achilles in real time,
Yeah.
that was tough to watch.
He's
You could
having a
see
good year.
the anger.
All right, let's pick tonight's game. Eagles -2.5 at the Chargers. I think it's a tough game to pick. One, Jalen Brown's out for not. Is it Jalen Brown? The big
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. Not Jalen Brown. He
Like
plays for the
Jalen Brown.
Celtics. Yeah,
It might be
Jalen-
out today. I don't know.
The guy who spit on Dak.
The guy spit on Dak. He changes the Eagles' defense.
Yes, he does.
But on the other side, Herbert, is he one hit away? Can he make it through this game with a broken arm or
All
a
I
wrist
know-
or whatever? So this is a tough game to call.
As I am on the cusp of possibly beating the no-put starter guy in on fantasy football, Mr. Thomas
just to finish
Andrews.
the season, man.
I
Finish
just
him up with a
I
big
just want to
L.
beat him
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, he's
I'm
so
I'm
annoying.
close. I need Goddard. Is that his name?
Goddard.
to
Do a
have
little
good
something,
game.
something.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go to
Do a
Eagles.
little something.
You take the
yes,
Eagles.
I'm gonna take the Eagles.
All right, Scrabe. Who do you like here? -2.5
I mean,
Eagles.
Justin Herbert's gonna be,
Go,
where is this game? I'm sorry.
Chargers, go.
Is it in Philly?
No.
Uh,
Up the road.
Justin Herbert playing after surgery on his non-throwing hand, kind of.
Scary scrape. Is it
I'm going
scary?
Eagles.
Eagles. I'm gonna go Chargers on the old. Sometimes you play much better when you're kind of hurt.
Yeah,
Theory.
that's true. They say beware of the
It's
sick
only,
golfer.
it's only Michael Jordan.
Only works for Michael. We'll see if it works for Justin Herbert tonight. 41.5 points. Not many. It's a low scoring over under 41.5 Scrabe.
By the way, Omarion Hampton is back tonight. So
yes, Chargers get a little.
I get him
boost
back,
there.
and I'm playing against him tonight. So
sweet.
Lucky for you.
I'm gonna go. I mean, there were so many high scores this week. I'm gonna go over.
Over. I'm gonna go over. I don't. 41.5 can't contain this game.
Yeah, over as well.
Over. All right. This is an interesting line. Herbert and Jalen Hurts are dead even. Passing plus rushing yards. Both have the same numbers, so pick one or the other. Herbert does get some rushing yards, but Hurts is starting to find AJ. I'm going to go Hurts tonight. This is close, though. Tony?
I don't know, man. Running might get that hand touched up a little bit.
Oh, right. They may tell him not to run.
I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen.
Jalen as well. Okay. Scrape?
Yeah, I'm going to go. I don't think he wants his hand to run into anything.
All taking Hurts. Barkley, 70.5.
Under.
Remember last year he was like at 120 rushing.
You feeling some type of way about this, huh?
Him and Lamar Jackson, two of the best fantasy football players that I drafted, have ruined my season.
Jackson
I
at
scored
21.
Jackson at 21. It doesn't matter at this point.
Oh, sorry.
Too little, too late.
Barkley under. Skraby went out of turn. He felt so strongly.
Yeah, he did.
Tony, who do you want? Under
70.5, you said?
70.5. You're already under. You're locked in. I'm not giving you your ticket back.
I'm going over.
I'm going over as well. Last year.
You guys haven't been watching Saquon then.
Yeah, but last year on this field, wasn't it against the Rams? He rushed for 700 yards.
This is a completely different Saquon.
NBA tonight. Who scores more? Spurs versus the Pelicans. Wemby or Zion?
Is Zion back?
It's a trick question. They're both hurt. They're both hurt.
Oh.
I just put it in for Skraby.
Do you like how you questioned Wemby? I just questioned
Zion.
Yeah, no, they're both out. Sacramento's at Indy. Our old guy, Zach LaVine, haven't got a mention lately. 20.5.
Man, but did we talk about Zach getting yelled at by the fan?
No.
Did you? You didn't see this?
I didn't see it. Where at?
At
Oh.
Sacramento, one of their season ticket holders
Said you're not
was
playing?
undressing him, and they actually removed him. My man then got on one of the ESPNs or something and proceeded to give his side of the story. And only person I could think of was you, because as he was furious.
Zach was?
No.
Oh,
Zach might have been embarrassed, but the fan was furious. He was going
was
in
he telling me he just wasn't
that
playing hard.
That he wasn't playing. He's all, I don't pay this money to come watch you not play defense.
Wow.
And so my man Zach LaVine told him to take his A home then.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I pay my money to see. Why don't you go home? He said.
That's a good line. And then he had to go home.
And then
though.
he had to
go home.
and the funny part was Russell Westbrook was watching him the whole time.
Oh.
And we know Russell to be the ultimate team protector. He kind of, although he was on alert just in case this dude hopped over the seats.
Right.
He didn't really have any pushback. He just kind of listening, he probably isn't playing much defense.
Right. No.
This is where fans go wrong. You have a right to watch a game because you buy a ticket. You don't have a right to tell the players and heckle the players because you're not happy with their defense.
I think you do. Not that to that extent. Zach LaVine doesn't guard anyone, and that's part of his game. It's okay. He's a great scorer.
I just can't stand all these people that think they're more important than everything that's happening around them. I'm so important. I'm going to stop the game and yell at this guy, and then I'm going to get kicked out. Why? Was it really worth it?
Yeah, he wasn't seeing it that way.
Was it really worth it?
I think if the as Tony calls him, if my man came back with the no. I paid money. Why don't you play some defense? If he really said that, that's a classic.
What he said.
That's worth getting kicked out for almost.
Said, why don't you go home if you don't want to play?
Right, if you don't want to play defense.
I thought I'd share that with you.
I love it. I love it.
It's also he's in Sacramento, and so
all right. Tonight he's in Indiana, so he's away from the maddening crowd. Skraby, do you like him over or under 20.5 points?
I couldn't tell you if he scored 20 points.
Well, he normally scores around there.
I'm going to say over.
Over at Indy. Say under because he's still hurting from the lambasting he took from the fan.
I'm also going to say under.
All right. One more. Dylan the Villain.
Oh.
Phoenix
Dylan's turned himself into an all right player
Phoenix
this year.
Phoenix at Minnesota. Dylan the Villain is 22.5 points.
Listen,
Can't
Dylan
believe it.
Dylan the Villain is starting to get some props finally from like his former colleagues. That's all Gilbert Arenas like. I couldn't believe what I was watching. This guy is he's not just accidentally getting 20 points. Remember, Villain the Villain is Dylan the Villain. Villain the Villain is known as a defensive guy. And so he's always now he's doing it on both ends. So
and he's letting you know about it.
Yes,
I'll say over. I'll say keeps up the hot streak.
I still can't stand him, so I'm
You're
gonna say
going
under.
Okay. Scrap.
Under.
Okie doke. That's all we got. By the way, you mentioned Gilbert Arenas. Side note, I'm doing the Aztec women in Kansas. I'll be traveling tomorrow, joining you guys, hopefully on the road. They're playing Kansas State. Gilbert Arenas' daughter is the backup point guard, plays about 20 minutes a game, though.
She's a freshman, isn't she?
Sophomore. Just transferred. But his daughter's on the team, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Gilbert Arenas' daughter.
Is this?
It's me, and we got Sam Levitt in Orlando to get us back to what's really important, baseball, when Gwynn and Chris continues. Hey, it's back.
3:35 on the clock, and there are some times I imagine when a producer is putting together a show, there's a pocket that he really wants to get to. And in today's case, I think we have hit that pocket. 3:35, Skraby has basically trash canned most of the show that is a staple.
That you're used to
That you're used to seeing, because he wanted this particular pocket to fit well. And Sam Levitt will join us here shortly.
Can I tell you why I put Sam there?
Why?
And this is exactly, I texted him. Sorry, Sam, you can't come on for a second. I texted him, we're going to end the show with the biggest star of the show.
Right, exactly. Yes. So he had been planning this all along. We have finally come to his baby. I hope indeed it is good. Now,
I'm giving you a lot of signals.
You are. And I got you. I'm ignoring you pretty much. We have a biggest fan to get to. So congratulations to our biggest fan, Mark Gillespie of San Diego. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes, 833-288-0973. You'll qualify for our grand prize. 20 tickets for you and your friend for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. Mark Gillespie, give us a call. You're on the clock.
Tick.
Let's check some traffic, and then the great Sam Levitt.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Got a few problems here. One is a crash blocking the 3 left lanes, South 805 past Home Avenue. Emergency crews on scene helping out with that. Also, northbound 5 right at the eastbound 905 connector ramp, a collision. Northbound 125 Mission Gorge off-ramp. We have reports of a stalled vehicle taking up that left lane. Whether you're dashing through San Diego or heading out of town, make sure your car's in the game. Friendly text at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. We'll check your lights, wipers, tire pressure, battery, and more with every oil change. Grab holiday savings now at SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
That'd be you, sir. Mr. Host Man.
Let's bring on none other than Sam Levitt. He is out in Orlando, Florida for the chaos called the winter meeting. Sam, how are you, my friend?
Look at him there. He's looking sharp. He's in the hallway. He's the best.
Sounds like you're in the middle of the action there, buddy.
I am. You are looking at the lobby, for those of you watching on YouTube, of the hotel here as we enter
I think they call this happy Sam.
Hour. Yes.
Jimmy Kimmel has his replacement. There he is. Sam Levitt. He's the America's host.
Looking sharp.
You like that?
Too.
Yeah. You like that? The step away.
I like the step away. Yeah, that was good.
I like that.
He's been working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They call this happy hour, I'm told, here on the East Coast at 6:40. So people hanging out, and after a long day here at the winter meetings, and we shall see what else transpires over the course of the next couple of days. But a good day one. I think an interesting day one. We got some indication from Craig Stammen and AJ Preller as to some of their plans today. But all in all, I would say across the board from a transaction standpoint, a quiet day one. And we'll see what else happens here over the course of the next 2.5 days.
Sam, I thought the most interesting thing Craig Stammen said today that we heard was the fact that he, thinks the organization, he says, is leaning toward, Mason Miller, Morejon, whoever, keeping them in that bullpen, not making the move to a starter. And so, but I like the answer because it actually told me something. Usually, managers won't really give you that info. But it goes along with what you said last week, that why take a strength and make two, mediocres out of it?
Yeah, I think, Chris, the key word there is leaning. Craig alluded to it, that it sounds like they're going to keep Miller, Morejon, and Morgan in the bullpen. Now, with that said, AJ Preller a little bit later on in the day echoed that, but also said that they did have the right to go back on it and revisit it as they got closer to spring training. So I think lean is the right word. Does that mean for sure that by the time we get to Peoria that one of those guys is not being stretched out and being considered a starter? I don't know that for sure, but it sounds like at this moment that's the way they're leaning. And I think you also have to wonder how much of this just all depends on what this rotation looks like by the time we get to spring training, by the time we get to early February. What do the Padres do? What are their options? Not just here at the winter meetings, but over the course of the next couple of months. That could also very well dictate whether they want to get aggressive in trying to convert one of those guys into a starting pitcher. So I think lean is the key word there. We had that kind of inclination from Craig earlier today. Same thing from AJ as well. But it didn't sound to me set in stone. So I would just caution people. I think it was Alden, who obviously does a great job for ESPN, Alden Gonzalez, that first tweeted it out from the Stammen press conference. And certainly it sounds like they're leaning that way, but I wouldn't write it in pen yet based on what we heard today. But I suppose a lot of that has to do with sort of the unknown about what the rest of this offseason is going to look like. But right now, I think leaning is the operative word.
I throw one more thing on there that's probably kind of pushing that decision one way or another, and that's the players themselves and what they want to do. It makes it a lot easier if you got two willing participants or whoever it is willing to make that and wanting to make that deal or make that kind of change. But we'll see. All guests on the 97.3 The Fan join us here on David P. Shapiro Fan Hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Our guest right now, Sam Levitt. And Sam, one of the other stories that popped up is a possible Nick Pivetta trade. I mean, to me, it only points, which I think kind of scares people, to if that move is made to a possible sale, because obviously Pivetta was a bargain deal last year, but he's going to make quite a bit more this season. And the Padres looking to make that rotation a little bit stronger may have to do it via moving a guy like Pivetta.
Yeah, well, when you first say it, Tony, it sounds almost counterintuitive because if you want to build a better rotation,
right,
taking Nick out of the rotation certainly wouldn't seem to make sense. However, when you're in the Padres position where, we'll see what the payroll ends up being, but there's certainly a chance that it may not be a whole lot higher than where it stands right now. We know, there's probably not a ton of wiggle room upwards.
Right.
Again, there might be some. But that it's not jumping up in a huge way. Well, then, and this is something that, I talked to AJ Preller about today, then you have to start, I think, considering a couple of different options, including dealing from positions of strength. And one of the Padres' positions of strength is the top of their rotation, and that is Pivetta. And what he did last year, certainly Jake Cronenworth, that's another name that's, been around here at the meetings and over the course of the last couple of days. And I don't think it's, out of the question that they would look to essentially deal from positions of strength, whether it be the top of the rotation or their lineup, or, a lot of infield, not necessarily depth, but obviously a quality player in a guy like Jake Cronenworth to A, free up some money to spend on pitching, and B, also see what you can get in return and probably have a nice mix of both, especially I think for guys like Cronenworth and Pivetta. So, look, it's an interesting proposition, especially the Pivetta part of it, because he was so good last year, and not knowing what you are signing or what you're getting back, be scary to lose a guy like Nick. And then where do you go from there? But you certainly, I think, understand why that might be a possibility based on the situation, because they need not just quality.
Right.
I mean, in their rotation, they need quantity right now. And yes, signing Kyle Hart, maybe he plays a role some way. Ty Adcock, and I know these guys may end up being bullpen guys, just gives you a deeper pitching staff. But, at the end of the day, you've got to explore all options, I think, if you're the Padres right now to again, not just have quality, but some quantity in that rotation. So we'll see. I was surprised to read that today from Dennis as well. But based on that reporting and talking to AJ and some of the conversations here at the meetings today that I've had, it seems like maybe that's in the realm of possibility. We'll see. I'd also add this. We always make a big deal out of the winter meetings, and why not? But doesn't mean anything's going to happen overnight here. I mean, this very well may be a similar offseason to the last couple for AJ and his staff, where this is just a very, very slow developing offseason. Remember, signing Profar when they did in 24, signing Pavetta, in 23, signing Pavetta when they did in 24. I mean, it's been a very, very late developing offseason for the Padres the last couple of years, and I think there's a distinct possibility it plays out that way again.
Sammy Lev, he's our guy. He's in Orlando at the baseball winter meetings, giving us the latest here on 97.3 The Fan. Sam, what's the biggest sure thing next year? Machado, 30-100. Bogarts kind of continuing the upswing. How about Jackson Merrill stepping up even bigger next year? I mean, yeah, he made strides at times this year, but, battled some injury along the way. Healthy Jackson could go a long way toward, covering up some of the openings that they seem to have right now.
Yeah, and Craig Stammen talked about it today, and his hope for Jackson heading into next year, his confidence for Jackson heading into next year. I do think, and this is no surprise to anybody, but I do think they have just a ton of confidence in what he's going to develop into and what he's going to continue to be. I mean, let's remember, he finished last season at 22 years old. When he was healthy and got into a groove, he looked like the Jackson Merrill of his rookie year. It was a weird year for Jackson. The injuries, the very start and stop nature of it, and I think their confidence in him is absolutely sky high. And I do want to add, just while we're on the topic of players, it was interesting to hear Craig Stammen went down to the Dominican Republic over the course of the last month, met with Fernando Tatis Jr., met with Randy Vasquez, met with Ramon Laureano. And if you remember from that opening press conference with Craig, he spoke a lot about, building chemistry, family, and you got a real sense of that from when he was talking about that trip down to the Dominican. So, as you guys know, those conversations are always important. And, I think he's got a lot of confidence, both in guys like Merrill and guys like Fernando and what they can continue to be. I mean, they both had interesting seasons in their own right? I mean, Merrill, again, start and stop, the injuries. When he was healthy, he looked like the Jackson Merrill of his rookie year. And Fernando had this year where, he's winning platinum gloves and some of his numbers are career highs, but it also felt like there was still, a lot left on the table for him in a number of respects. So, anyway, long answer there beyond Jackson, but me rambling on here in the lobby, and good to hear all that from Craig Stammen about those meetings.
You had it going there. Nobody was going to step in and stop you, man. You were on a roll there. Sam Levitt joins us here on Gwynn and Chris. And
I heard the pregame show is going to be extended to 3 hours next year. Give Sam time to get everything in.
That'd be great. It'd be good for our show.
Yeah.
We're talking about pitching, and obviously there are moves that can be made, but as you said, we don't really know. I don't know that the Padres know what the payroll is going to be at this point. But there are some guys, some promising guys. I mean, Randy Vasquez is one. He could ease the pain a little bit on that. Are there any arms that maybe we're not talking about within the organization that, whether it's on the bullpen side, that could maybe alleviate the pain if you had to move one of those high leverage arms to the rotation? Is there anybody that could possibly show up next year that we're not talking about that's in the organization?
Yeah, I mean, look, in the organization, look, there's not a ton of depth there going down to the AAA level. And look, on the 40-man, just to be frank, I mean, you're looking at guys like Johnny Brito. You're looking at guys, Miguel Mendez, I know, is somebody that they're really high on, and I know his name has been kind of thrown around as if if the Padres dipped into their prospect depth, that maybe he's a guy who would draw interest. Look, obviously on the relief side, you got guys like Bradley Rodriguez who had really strong moments of last season. Matt Waldron, JP Sears. I mean, these are not names that A, are going to be unfamiliar to Padres fans, and B, necessarily blow you away. But that's kind of the issue here, right? As we sit here at the winter meetings, is the fact that yeah, you really don't know what that rotation is going to look like. And the names are not going to really blow you away right now with what their options are. So certainly could more bullpen depth, Tony, give them the freedom to, hey, if they get to a spot and it's February 9th and you're heading to Arizona and you still have major needs in your rotation, could the Padres be in a position where they say, you know what? We've got these young relievers, guys like Morgan, guys like Rodriguez. We've got some young guys at AA, AAA that we think are ready to make an impact right now. You know what? We're going to go for it. We're going to try to convert Mason Miller into a starting pitcher because we think, A, he can do it, and B, our bullpen can withstand it. You know, maybe that's part of the equation here. But Tony, to answer the question on a pure starting rotation basis, as far as starters on the 40-man and high-level starters in the minors, you know, it does feel like the cupboard is kind of bare, to be honest, which is part of the issue here. I think we would maybe be having a bit of a different conversation, you know, if the answer was a little bit different, right? Maybe then things wouldn't feel, and dire is a strong word, but at least as, well, maybe dire is the right word when you're looking at kind of this situation and how they have to build this rotation.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you look at a different situation where you're not talking about trying to deal Nick Pivetta to build a rotation, as kind of odd as it may sound. So I don't think there are a ton of big time names that are right there on the cusp, but certainly I think they have depth pitching wise where, you know, eventually if they've got to go make somebody a starter out of the Morgan, Morahone, Miller trio, where, you know, maybe it's a little bit easier to stomach if you have some arms in that bullpen that you like.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind for everyone out there. Padres just had a draft in June.
Sure.
And it wasn't that long ago that the cupboard seemed very thin before this last trade deadline, right? All it takes is a half season of those drafted players to start showing the promise that becomes valuable to other teams. Next thing you know, that cupboard a little bit fuller. That's what we've seen over the last couple years from the Padres.
Yeah, I think, Tony, it's a really important point because I recall at this time last year us having a very, very similar conversation, right? And meanwhile, you got to the summertime and AJ had plenty of prospect capital to trade and make really important moves that they needed right then at that point. So look, the situation as far as the minor league system could look very different by the time we get to the summer. I think you're absolutely right about that. But, you know, right here, right now, it looks like, you know, there are arms that can contribute, but they may have to get pretty creative here to build out this rotation. I think that's one of the main takeaways here from day one of the meetings.
Sam, you're going to be there for a bit, my friend. So we'll check in with you, I'm sure, tomorrow, and I'm sure the day after that as well.
Yes, although I was telling Skraby my flight is
it's early on Wednesday.
Early evening on Wednesday, so Eastern time.
Well,
so
we certainly won't disturb you from getting on your.
Adam's gonna be on you guys. Like, where's Sam?
New?
Get him in the air. He can make a phone call.
Adam, don't they have those little things in the back of the seat?
Regulation. I don't care.
Sam, thank you for your time, brother.
Adam taking some restraints here.
Oh, it's usually from us. Now you're getting it from Sam. All right. Always fun to catch up with Sam. Again, I said it earlier. If you're going to be in a position where, you know, you can't really expand payroll, AJ's a pretty good dude to have at the helm to try to keep you where you're at.
The problem is you may have to expand your payroll to keep him around. That's going down the road.
That is a thing. So that's going to do it for today's show. Chargers. I know you said, hold on, let it come to me. Oh, Eagles. Chargers, Eagles.
Coming up next. Tomorrow we have the show that you normally,
hopefully
expect to have if
Skraby decides to show up.
I don't know. I'm thinking about canceling the big fight tomorrow.
Well,
we'll need it.
Yeah, we definitely will need it. 4 hours tomorrow. You guys enjoy the game. Enjoy the rest of your night.